All right, y'all, check this out. The devil doesn't take a day off. The devil does not stop. He doesn't need to sleep. He doesn't need to eat. You don't need to take a break. He works day in and day out, moment to moment. The accuser is always ready. The devil doesn't take a day off. And the devil, D-E-V-I-L, D, evil, opposite of lived, okay? Opposite of life is the devil. So the devil doesn't stop. He doesn't sleep. But you know who does take a day off? Can you guess? God takes a day off, right? Took rest on the Sunday. God takes a day off. God takes a break. And then here we got this hustle culture, which is like, keep it going, keep it moving. You got Gary Vee out here, content, don't stop. No shade against Gary Vee. Love that guy. But hear me out. Why is it that the devil doesn't stop, but God gets to take a day off? It's because the devil is always going to be running behind. And the reason for this is the simple law of power versus force. Shout out to Dr. David Hawkins, late, great doc, spiritual guide. We could say God, life, is the power, and the devil, the anti-life, is the force. Not to be confused with the Force in Star Wars. If we wanted to make this accurate, we would say that what is referred to as the Force in Star Wars is actually what we're calling here the power. And that's how things get inverted in the movies and stuff anyway. So, because that's, right, that's a lot of Satan's work there. And it's not to say that there isn't light workers, there isn't God presence in the movies and the music and the creation, because there's light and dark and everything. That's the balance. So let's look at this. Power is always power. It doesn't need anything added to it and cannot be taken away from, because it is unlimited. It is limitless. It is eternal. It is the source of all force. God's love, God's power, God's grace is all that is. It really is the source of all that is. It is that energy, that life force which is surging through all of creation. It's what all of creation is made up of. So then what is force? As we know from physics perspective, a force is always met with an equal and opposite force. And this right here is the key. Why does the devil have to keep working? Why he can't take a day off? Because everything he does is met with an opposite force. Because everything he does is forceful, manipulative. And that always comes back at you. And often it comes back multiplied. It's like when you point the finger, you got all the fingers pointed back. So it's important that we take this to heart. And you choose what you want to take to heart or not. Of course, it's up to you. Satan, devil, ego, force, anti-life. Being forceful, being manipulative, pushing through, trying to force things into place. Not coming from a place of power. See, if you're coming from a place of power, it means you are inherently whole and complete. In the last video we talked about this, that this is the secret to magnetism, to attracting abundance, for example, or attracting anything that you are looking to magnetize into your life. It's not a matter of work hard for it every day and don't stop like the devil, because that's forceful, that's manipulative. And you're not in your power doing that. The power says, I'm here. I am. There's nothing that needs to be done to be in your power, except to be in your power. You get it? So, it's not even your power, okay? It's God's power. It is the power of all that is. So you can rest assured in the power of all that is. And I'm telling you that if you take time for yourself, you take time to nurture your body, your mind, your spirit, even if it's not a full days off from responsibilities, because sometimes it's not realistic in this world. You know, if you can, go ahead. But I'm telling you that being able to take time away from the work hustle and just rest in your power and know that you've done enough. Okay, like you've earned this. You've earned to take the break, right? Like God rested on the seventh day. Because he created the whole universe. That's the story, right? He created the whole universe. Why would you not take a day off after all that, huh? So I'm telling you, you're doing so much. You have earned it. You have earned it. You have earned to take rest. And really, you deserve that every day. You deserve that rest, that care, that nurturing, tending to yourself, to your body, to your mind, to your spirit every day. And the devil's not going to do that. Like I said, doesn't need to eat, doesn't need to sleep. There's a great quote from a Orthodox Christian monk. I don't know a word for word, but it's something along the lines of the devil doesn't need to eat, doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need to drink. The only way, the only field in which you can totally surpass the devil is with humility. Humility. Humbleness. And what nurtures humility but rest? Prayer. Connecting to earth, to nature, connecting into your body, being with yourself. Being with God in prayer, in song, in dance, in rest. Right? Christ would rest. Christ would go off on his own and pray and be in silence. Be in that calm and be in that peace. It wasn't work 24/7. So look what the hustle culture has done. Look what the devil has done. You think you gotta just work, grind it out. And that's gonna bring the abundance. That's gonna bring the wealth. That's gonna magnetize it. And that's part of it. Like, obviously, taking the action is a major part of the equation. All right, you gotta have the proper attitude and the proper energetics. You gotta have a relaxed nervous system and feel like you can even have that level of abundance. And from that place of wholeness and completion, of resting in your power, from there comes the proper action. When you take that time off, and you are in the silence, and you're in peace, and you're in rest, that's when the most amazing ideas will come through you. That's when the plan of action will come through you. If you just keep going, and you're feeding constant inputs in, that's how you feed into what's called the mitote. in the Toltec wisdom, right? He talks about this. Don Miguel Ruiz talks about this in the Four Agreements. The mitote is like this morass of 1,000 voices in the mind, just competing with each other and disagreeing, contradicting each other. That's because you are feeding so many inputs into your mind all the time. You're not taking time for that process to just sort itself out. It's like an equation that needs to sort itself out, and you keep adding new things to the equation. How is it going to resolve itself? You got to give that time and space and let it resolve itself. Spend the time to rest with God, be with God. Because it's Satan who doesn't sleep. It's Satan who doesn't take a break. You are not that. You are life. You get to just simply be like the rest of nature. And you might think, well, nature doesn't stop. Nature keeps growing. Okay. If you stop doing things with your mind and trying to think and solve this and do this work and get this done, does your body stop? No. That the processes of the body are still going to keep going on. Nature doesn't stop. But you don't have to be having your hands in all that. You don't have to consciously beat your heart, pump the blood through the body, and do all of these mind-blowing processes that we don't even understand. Because how could we? So you do get to be like the rest of nature and just be as you are, and the natural processes will occur without you needing to do anything about it. That's what I mean. Be in your power. Take some space away, especially when it's getting all jumbled up, especially when you feel that pressure to get it all done. That is when you go for a walk, you go for a run, you do a workout, you do some yoga, you do some breath work, you sit in a meditation, you write a song about it, you write a poem. When it's getting all crazy in there, you don't keep trying to push through it. And that pressure telling you gotta push through it, that is the devil right there. So stop feeding into this, okay? Your abundance requires you to rest. It requires you to take time away from the incessant and endless work. The devil never sleeps, but God took a rest day. So, which master would you like to serve? The choice is yours. If you are looking to connect with a group of like-hearted brothers who are on a similar path, I have brought together an online brotherhood where we meet on live group calls every Saturday morning. And this is a place for you to share and express what is on your heart, from struggles to victories, from joys to concerns. It's a place to be yourself, to be witnessed in that. We have some deep conversations on topics similar to the one that I presented here today. It is $50 a month to tap into this brotherhood. Like I said, we meet every week, so it is a beautiful opportunity for this price to connect with myself in an intimate group. This group is going to be growing, but at this point, as I'm recording this video, it is still below 20 people in the space. So there is a great opportunity to be able to connect with myself on a deep and personal level, receive some coaching, guidance, mentorship in that group setting, and really What is the coaching, the mentorship about, the guidance is about? It's all about connecting you, or helping you to connect to the God within you. Helping you to connect to your heart intuition, which is the God speaking through you. Because honestly, don't let anybody tell you what to do. You know, you could take advice from people, but you gotta, at the end of the day, in each moment, you have to discern it through your own heart. Everything I've said here as well, take it with a grain of salt. Discern for yourself. Learn to discern for yourself. We got an ebook, Follow the Heart ebook, which is designed to walk you through a process of getting out of the head, getting out of the mind, and overthinking and analyzing and trying to make decisions that way, and using the intelligence of your body to make decisions, and then ultimately leading to a complete trust and open expansion into that heart intuition as the guide. So there are multiple pathways here for you. There's a lot more I could share about that, but I'll leave it at that for now. Check the link in the description for more information on these opportunities. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for listening. And go take a rest. Take a break. You earned it.